Hello and welcome to Unprofessional Engineering. My name is James.
And you got Luke.
Luke, we're looking back on the long and storied history of social media today.
So, first of all, I was totally shocked at how far back social media actually goes. Like if you go like in the way back machine, I was super surprised by that. And there were some things I totally forgot about. So later on in the show, I'm going to play a game with James, and you can play along at home, where he has to guess if the word that I say is a social media platform or was in the past, or if it's just a word that I'm making up.
This is going to be lovely. So how is this related to engineering? Shut your face is how it's related to engineering, right, Luke?
Well, first of all,
but really, how's it related to engineering?
We've done episodes like on pizza before. Come on.
But we engineered the perfect pizza. I think that it's fair to say that social media has permeated every aspect of life at this point, and that it's very critical to but tied into engineering.
You could be like a computer engineer or like a programmer and work at a social media company that does algorithms and, you know, analysis and user stats and gamification. I mean, there's all kinds of engineering.
Gamification.
There's all kinds of stuff in social media that is designed and engineered. It's just all in the background. You just don't see it.
That's right.
You don't see the warts and all. You just see the pretty user interface on your phone.
The warts. That's great. Wart is a gross word.
Yeah.
Just saying. 1972 is the first year I have listed.
Ooh,
what do you have?
I don't have that one.
Do you want me to
72?
talk about it?
Okay, shoot. I didn't see that one.
This is a stretch, but this is what I'm going with as the start. The discrete cosine transform, DCT compression technique, was proposed by Nasser Ahmed. So what's that mean to anyone? Well, it's super widely used for data compression algorithms on social media, enabling practical transmission of streaming digital media. We love streaming our media, right? So this is the basis for most compressed standards or compression standards for digital images like JPEG back in 1992, for videos like MPEG in 1993 and onward, audio compression such as Dolby Digital in 91 and MP3 in 94. So a lot of what we still use today and the technology that's grown from it is based off of this idea from 1972. So not exactly social media, but it's what's enabling social media to be as crazy cool as it is today.
James,
Luke.
GIF or GIF?
Gosh, I know there's technically a right answer. I say GIF, but I think GIF is the correct way to do it.
I don't know either one, but I got in an argument with my daughter about that one time. Like,
what are you?
I'm pretty sure that everybody says GIF, but to your point, I really think GIF is a brand of terrible peanut butter. Sorry,
it is not good peanut butter. No.
But so I always take like social media names and I smash them together to annoy my daughter. I'm like, why?
Such a
it's
jerk.
Like, why are you always on the FaceTube? Like, she just gets like, when I say that, she gets so irritated. Like it's a game to come up with an interesting name of, you know, take two of them and just smash them together. It's my favorite.
That is a fun game.
Yeah, as a parent, it's my favorite.
Speaking of names getting smashed together, Luke, in 1973, TacoMatic was created by Dave Woolley and Douglas Brown. Talk, T-A-L-K.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, Matic. Kind of like Sledge-O-Matic. Do you remember Gallagher, the comedian?
Yes, I do.
Who would smash stuff with his Sledge-O-Matic? It's like that, but TacoMatic.
Okay.
So these cats, as you would say, were at the University of Illinois. And they put this together as a multi-user chat room application. So that's kind of cool. Term Talk was also created then by the staff at the Computer-Based Education Research Laboratory at the University of Illinois. And then Pluto Notes was created by the same 17-year-old, which makes me feel very bad about myself, Dave Woolley, at the Computer-Based Lab as well. In 1976, a little later, the notes expanded to be able to enable users to create note files. And this became the basis or the inspiration for Lotus Notes, which a lot of people know today. So again, not social media as we know it today, but this is like when a college really started being able to have multiple users chatting with each other via a computer. Pretty cool stuff.
So
Go ahead.
So the one that I see, do you have anything before 1979?
I do not. That was my last one.
So the next one I have, and this is probably the biggest precursor to, because I don't think we're still yet at social media. Like we're
not
getting
what
close.
I would consider social media.
So a guy by the name of Tom and another guy by the name of Jim first had this thing called Usenet. This is in 1979, and it allowed for posting of news information or articles to a news group. This was essentially the precursor to my favorite thing in the world, which I don't know what it is an RSS feed.
Well, we have an RSS feed for our podcast, so I'm glad you don't know what that is.
I have no idea. It's something about I subscribe, and then when something happens, I get notified that something changed.
Basically,
I don't know if that's so. So this was like the first kind of, I'll say, as social as it could be, but still not yet, because I think in the research that I was doing, for it to be considered social media, there really had to be this back and forth type of thing that could happen. And it wasn't just like a chat room where you could talk. It was more like posting and liking and sharing and profiles. Like that's really kind of what defines, I think, social media, like as we're talking about it in this context.
Yeah. 1988 is my next date that I really care about at all. Anything before that?
So I have the first bulletin board system.
I saw that one, but I was skipping it. Go ahead.
Okay, no, it was the BBS was the first of its kind website that allowed users to log on, connect with each other, and it was actually, the BBS system, as it was called, was actually pretty popular up until it died in the 90s. So.
Yeah, so that's cool. In 88, Instant Relay Chat, or IRC, became a thing basically from the ashes of BBS. It was actually intended to kind of expand on BBS, but sort of became its own thing. It offered very similar services and experience, but it was a lot more user-friendly. The interface was better, all that. It's still used today. A really popular one is Mirc, small m, capital IRC. I don't know what people use it for. I know when I was in like middle school, early high school, there was a lot of gaming chat that went on there. And then I think there were a lot of, we'll just call them shady undertakings that also took place there. So I don't frequent Mirc or anything of the sort anymore, but that was a thing back in the late 80s.
So I see a big fast forward all the way up to 1996.
That's what I see as well, Luke. Amazing.
So I'm fairly certain that like between 1988 and 1996, there was a whole bunch of this. A lot of chat rooms were happening, a lot of, our RSS and these kind of instant communication things were happening, but it wasn't yet truly social media. So the very first, this is considered the beginning of social media, was a platform by the name of 6 Degrees. It was founded by Andrew Weirreich.
Not Kevin Bacon.
Not Kevin Bacon. Fun fact, on May 1996, and this site actually it had millions of registered users, and it was one of the first to actually start to put in what I'll call profiles. So you could like create a profile of who you were. You could connect with friends and see friends and people that you were connected with, and it was again. The downfall of it was the internet. The internet apparently was the problem, because
wasn't the internet necessary for it?
It couldn't support the growth.
Oh, it was too popular. Like
it was
your 14.4 dial-up wasn't able to handle,
or you just couldn't get access to it. Like how many people had the
server
internet?
Couldn't handle
how many
it.
people had the internet in their house? Like I'd have to go to the library to and who wants to sit in a librry and chat with people and do that sort of stuff? Like you want to do that in the comfort of your own home.
Have you ever been to a library, Luke? Don't lie.
Oh yeah. I go to the library, not all the time, but I go to the library.
Oh, okay.
You call it library or library?
Library, because I pronounce words properly. I enunciate. See, that's exactly what causes me to get those stop being pretentious comments. I apologize. I didn't mean
so
it.
Pretentious.
96 as well, Luke. I saw that the Swedish social networking website Lunar Storm, sweet name, originally called STAJILPLE EJS. Not even trying that.
Glad they changed the name.
Right. It was launched by the founder, Richard Erickson, in 2000, renaming it to Lunar Storm. Way better. And that's also described as one of the first social medias on the network. But the founder is the one who said that. So, of course, I'm going to say it was the first as well. But also in 96, this one is near and dear to my heart.
Oh.
ICQ. Do you remember ICQ?
Vaguely, for some reason.
So it was released by an Israeli company, Mirabilis. Fun fact, ICQ is derived from I seek you. So ICQ, the letters
this was instant messaging, right?
It was instant messaging, yes. Fun fact too, I did not know this until yesterday. Turns out that AOL bought ICQ in 1998 for $287 million upfront and another 120 million smackers in the checks in the mail kind of payment. They later sold it for 187.5 million. So they took a little bit of a hit there, but they'd already patented the service. So I think they probably didn't care so much about the platform anymore. But it's near and dear to my heart because I spent countless hours on ICQ talking to my friends, and that's really that's what taught me to type. Like I can type relatively quickly at this point. I mean, my formative years were spent on ICQ talking with all of my friends.
ICQ became, or what is AOL Messenger, right?
I don't think so. I mean, AOL Messenger came out and it maybe was based off of that technology, but they both ran in parallel for quite some time. Before we go on with more of the history, Luke, because this is actually way more exciting than I thought it would be, I think that it's time for us to take a break for a word from our sponsor.
So we have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Pinterest, YouTube, TikTok.
So here's the problem. This week, it was all of them that wanted to sponsor us, and I couldn't just pick one. No sponsor again this week. Exactly. The Zucks called me, and I was like, sorry, bro, not this week. Maybe next week. Shout outs, though, Luke. Shout outs galore. Anthony S., not soprano.
Hey, dog.
Says, my name is Anthony. So I guess he's not a Tony. He's an Anthony. I just wanted to write in and say hi. Thanks, Anthony. I love the podcast and you both do a fantastic job. Thank you.
Thank you.
I myself am a mechanical engineer at Western Michigan University while minoring in math. Our good friend Troy was also a Western Michigan guy, nice. I believe. Suggested an episode on the Mackinac Bridge, which my understanding is that bridge that goes out to that party island in one of the Great Lakes. I've never been there, but that sounds like a place that you'd go to. So thank you for writing in, Anthony. Maybe we will be looking at that bridge. And then there's Olav G.
Good old Olav.
Greetings from Norway. That would have been where I guessed Olav was writing from. Your podcast has been a pleasure to listen to on my morning walks with the dog. Worked 3 years as a mechanic, and now I'm currently starting my 3rd year on my bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. Also, he's looking to buy merch. So, Luke, whatever happened to that merchandise store you were setting up for us?
So we got to figure out a way to make some coin here. So
cash money.
Olaf, hang tight. We may have something for you down the road because we got to figure out how to retire from this, James. That's what we got to figure out how to do.
No doubt. So if any of you would actually like a merchandise store, if you would support one, if you'd buy t-shirts or coffee mugs or stickers or whatever, actually email us and tell us that, because it might spur us on to do it. Now, we know Luke's not actually going to do it, but it might spur me on to ignore emails even more and try and set one up. So please let us know. I guess that's it. Email us at unprofessionalengineering@gmail.com and do that.
And don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and we love the reviews. And as always, you can tell your smart devices to play the Unprofessional Engineering Podcast.
There we go. What do you have next on your list of things?
So there's another really big jump that I go all the way up to 2002. Do you have anything?
Oh, I can't let you do that.
Okay.
So you mentioned 6 degrees. There's also bolt.com, which was another big one. But the ones I wanted to bring up are, 3 in particular before we get to yours. Numero uno would be Yahoo Messenger, followed by MSN Messenger, which were both super popular at the time. And then also LiveJournal, which was an early blogging platform. I didn't realize blogging didn't take off until this time, but I guess I don't remember seeing it as a kid. So those were, again, kind of ICQ, kind of instant messenger related stuff. But 2000 is the one that I really want to call out happened. Do you remember hotornot.com?
I vaguely remember hearing about that.
I do not condone hotornot.com, Luke. It is bad for people's self-images. It's not nice. But the site basically invited their users to submit photos of themselves so that other users could rate them on their attractiveness.
So I'm going to throw good old Zucky under the bus because he did this too. So right before Facebook started, I think it was the year before that at Harvard, there was something, I think it was Face Smash or Smash Face or something like that.
Smash your face.
And basically it was the Harvard version of this.
Hot or not.
So here's this, everybody thinks that he's this, super philanthropic, nice guy, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, guess what? When he was in college, he made his own version of Hut or Not.
He was just rating the lady folks.
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't know. That
I know.
It's not
so
nice.
I remember going on this site. I remember when I was a youngster, maybe I rated a person or two. It's not nice, but it is rumored to have influenced Facebook's creation and a bit of YouTube. And then the article I wrote says, and it nurtured millions of insecurities, which it did.
Yeah.
It was terrible. And then it kind of came back as like a joke sort of thing at one point as well. But I don't know if it's still a page or not. Don't go there.
No.
All right, moving on.
The next big one that you have to talk about is the one called Friendster.
Yeah.
So Friendster was launched by Jonathan Adams and Peter Chin on March 2000. It was built on the premise, and they were paying homage back to 6 Degrees. So it featured ways to connect with people that supposedly. The service in Friendster was actually just as popular as MySpace, which came out right around this same time. And so Friendster is credited with like being the one, if you think of the name Friendster and Facebook, and
it was around the time of Napster as well.
Yeah, there was all kinds of names.
So
it's credited with giving birth to the social media movement. Back in 2011, it was abandoned as they moved over to an entertainment site, much like MySpace, which was, I remember MySpace. I had a MySpace account.
Me too. I tried to log into it after doing the research for this. I
wouldn't even know what my password was. Apparently now it's about entertainers and like musicians and stuff like that. So,
oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Friendster. Yeah, I think it was super popular in Asia more than anywhere, but it was a big time thing. I remember the name of it. Do you remember? No, you wouldn't. There was a thing called Neopets. It was like a game playing website as well.
I don't do games.
And you had like a little, I know you don't. It had like a little animal that you took care of. 2003, Luke, I saw another big one. The business oriented social network we know and love as LinkedIn launched. So that's a kind of big deal. As of 2015, most of the company's revenue comes from selling access to information about its members. How's that make you feel? It's also good for recruiting and sales professionals. I've done a lot of that over the last 3 years. And since December of 2016, it has been wholly owned as a subsidiary of Microsoft. As of June 2021, Luke, that was last month or just a few days ago, LinkedIn has 756 million registered members across 200 countries and territories for Microsoft to sell their information to others.
So why we do social media sometimes, like, and I know we're doing a podcast right now and it's going to be on YouTube. So I get it, but I just do not get why that like, we will never sell your information here at Unprofessional Engineering.
We will not gather it either because that's a lot of effort.
And LinkedIn, the crazy part was it started out as a place to post your resume to get jobs. And I think it still does that. So of all of the social media networks that are kind of current and active out there now, I do have to say that LinkedIn is probably the one that keeps it most professional. There's usually not a ton of personal opinion or a lot of politics or anything like that happens. I think people tend to watch themselves on that site because it is a professional site. Where when people are on Facebook, they're just saying whatever comes to mind whenever they finish their White Claw. So,
yeah, no, they're White Claw. I will have to throw this out there as well. I know we're doing a very North America or English speaking version of the history of social media. There's all sorts of
we have to pay
social media like Line, Kakao, a bunch of others around the world that we're probably not going to mention too much here. In 2003, again, Luke, you mentioned them already. Our good friends at MySpace, one of the most popular ever sites and most successful ones to launch. In 2005, it kind of marked its peak. The site had 25 million users, which feels like a lot until you look at like how Facebook's doing now. It was the 5th most popular site in the United States. If any of you had a MySpace account, page, whatever, you would know Tom Anderson, who was the co-founder of MySpace. He was your friend. He had that creepy, like kind of hunchy picture of him looking over his shoulder. Yeah. After selling MySpace to News Corp for $580 million in 2005, good timing for you, MySpace.
Tom bought an island.
He actually left the company 4 years later in 2009, but in his retirement at not a very old age, he took up travel photography after taking photographs of Burning Man 2011. It all just makes sense to me. Wow. Of course he was taking pictures of Burning Man. Yeah. News Corp eventually sold MySpace to Specific Media for $35 million. For any of you doing the math at home, that's $545 million less than they purchased it for. So,
wow,
maybe it was a good investment. What do I know?
So, James, this little thing happened in 2004. That would be the first launch of Facebook. It initially launched as a Harvard-only kind of platform.
Hot or not.
And it allowed users to post content, personalize their profiles. They've added tons of features over the years, some popular, some not popular, private messaging, posting on walls, Facebook Live. And again, a lot of what they do is selling your data or optimizing your data for advertisements. So
they do a lot of that.
Again,
they make a lot of dollars.
Yes, they do. So that's Facebook.
Like you said, though, it was known as Face Smash to begin with. Then it was known as the Facebook. And then shortly after they dropped the because that's not cool and just became Facebook, they had to pay $200,000 for Facebook.com, the domain. If anybody's looking to buy unprofessionalengineering.com, you just hit me up at our email address and I will sell it to you for no more than $200,000. Before we move on, Luke, let's take a break for this week's Luke's Rant.
Okay, so I have to make my rant all about social media, obviously, and I'm a parent, so I always do this. And my daughter's probably in the other room listening, and she's gonna be mad at me whenever I'm done. But there has to be like some kind of sensibility and I'll say accountability that these social media companies have to kind of own, because I get as a parent, you need to be involved and know what your kids are doing and what they're looking at. And you got to monitor a lot of that stuff, especially the younger children that kind of might not be making the best decisions with their time and what they're looking at. But there is just so much bad stuff out there on social media. And it's not good for kids to be on their phones and social media as much as it is. So I don't know if it's like something where these social media companies based off of algorithms can like automatically time things out based off of like health and service recommendations. So imagine if you got a whole bunch of pediatricians together and said, what's the optimal maximum time a kid should spend on social media? And let's just say it's 3 hours a day or 4 hours a day. At 4 hours a day, their social media should just stop working. And, across all platforms, all devices, I'm sure that's a huge technology hurdle, but it's just like,
why don't you start a company that does this?
It just is not a good, well, I mean, and you can set limitations as a parent, but kids know all the workarounds because they're smarter than their parents when it comes to their devices and their phones.
I mean, it doesn't take much to outsmart you, Luke.
Yeah, so I just feel like, and there's so much, and I feel like the benefits of connecting socially for kids outweighs the time and the bad stuff that's out there on social media. You know, the bullying and the hazing and the mean stuff and, you know, the shaming. And there's just, I think it outweighs it. I think parents need to do what they can do. And I think these companies need to take a little bit of responsibility as well. So that's my rant.
You ever notice that your rants just cost us all of our sponsors?
Sorry.
2003, backing up a little bit again, Luke. Skype showed up.
I loved
Popular
Skype
instant
for the
messaging
longest
and
time.
video calling. Yeah, we used Skype for work even up until just recently. 2004, Flickr, an image and video hosting
Mhm.
site, launched. Many users use Flickr to keep personal photos, hosting images and videos, later embedding them into websites. 2005, a really, really, really big one, Luke. Anybody heard of YouTube?
What's it
That
called?
also you.
Like one word.
Yes, like one word. If anybody's been to the Unprofessional Engineering YouTube channel, you would know what it is. The 7 of you who've ever been there.
3 of them are your mom.
Do you that was sort of a your mom joke. I like it.
Kinda.
Anyone remember Me at the Zoo?
I never knew this.
Yeah,
I just saw this
first
morning.
video. Yeah, it was the first YouTube video. It's this dude doing a bad job of describing elephants. He's basically standing in front of elephants at the San Diego Zoo, I believe. And he's like, yeah, these are like, you know, the animal, and they're known for like
They're really
their
long
nose. And I was just like, this is the video. It's like 17 seconds.
Oh
It
my
has like
goodness.
170 something million views at this time, but just really funny.
He's gotta be rich, right?
I would imagine. On October 16th, 2006, Chen and Hurley sold YouTube to a company called Google.
Gagall?
Google.
Okay.
$1.65 billion. And
Supposedly,
I think Google's pretty happy about that.
Yeah,
purchase.
supposedly the story goes for Google. They were like, we're buying you, and then we're not messing with you. Like, just keep doing whatever
Good
you do.
for them.
Yeah. So apparently that's like the backstory. Like, it was like, okay, this thing is working. Let's not mess this up. And I would say it's worked out for them. I mean, you know, only time will tell if YouTube's successful. But
oh, goodness. One more I'm going to call out here, and then I'll let you start rambling a few. 2005 as well. 2005, 2004, big years for social media. 2005, Reddit was created. The American social news aggregation, web content rating, and discussion website launches. I hate Reddit. I'll put that out there.
Really?
I'm sorry, Reddit people. I don't need to go to endless strings of text to learn stuff. I can go to YouTube and watch a video. I don't need to get into your creepy subreddits that are inappropriate.
I don't
None of this
understand
stuff.
Reddit at all.
I mean, it hurts my brain. I have friends that really, really love Reddit. It's not for me. Moving on, Luke, what do you got next?
Moving on, this little thing called Twitter.
Yeah, another
launched,
successful one.
In 2006. And it originally had 140 characters. And I think the crazy part is like that, like there's people like I think my daughter being one of them that never knew that there was a character limit of 100. And that just changed like a year ago or something like that?
And
Maybe
it did just change recently. But remember also uploading an image to one would count as one of your characters. That drove me nuts.
It's like, no, I'm exactly at 140 and I want an image because I've crafted this perfect tweet.
Okay, where's the ampersand go?
Next up that I have is the next big one, I'll say, is Instagram. Launched in 2010. I'm sure there's some other ones that I'm missing, but I want to make sure we save time for our game.
Pinterest, Instagram, Quora, all 2010. Followed by their friend Snapchat in 2011. Everybody knows Snapchat because it allows the youths of today to send inappropriate pictures to each other, with them then disappearing, with no one ever seeing them again.
But fun fact, they actually don't really disappear because, as we all know, nothing disappeared. Children, nothing ever disappears off of the internet, ever. So keep that in mind. 2011
again, Luke. Microsoft, lovers of social media like LinkedIn, acquires Skype Technologies for $8.5 billion.
And did they ruin it? Was that how it went? They ruined
I don't know exactly,
Skype?
but it sure felt like that's the direction it headed.
Yeah.
And also in 2011, Google Plus starts and fails, completely shutting down in 2019.
How many
They
times?
totally botched that.
Okay, so with how much time we got left, James? About 5
We got
minutes?
maybe about 5 minutes.
Okay,
left.
so I just want to do a really quick, and if you have anything else, you can, if you want to squeeze something in. So I'm going to do like an old school, new school, and we mentioned some of these. So old school, we're going to throw MySpace. What about Squarespace? Remember everybody and their mother checking into Squarespace? Like, I don't care that you're at a pizza place and now you're having coffee, living a better life than I'm living. Like, I don't care that you just checked in. Like,
we're not the target audience.
Like stalkers, love that. So like so Foursquare was this whole check-in app to connect with people and share where you were going. So these are ones I'm going to say are failures. So MySpace, Foursquare, AIM, Dig. I don't know if you remember Dig. Club Penguin. You were definitely a Club Penguin person.
I don't know what that is. No, I've never heard of that.
So Club Penguin was, I think it may have been acquired by Disney or before Disney acquired it. It was a penguin avatar world where like teenagers, high schoolers would be a penguin in this avatar, and you could go like do stuff and talk to people as a penguin.
That does sound like something I'd be interested in.
It does sound. Friendster, Vine. Remember Vines?
I remember Vine. Yeah.
Google Plus, and then who doesn't remember Classmates?
I don't know.
You remember Classmates? So Classmates was like the original like late night looking for your high school girlfriend online kind of website. So it was essentially you would put in what year you graduated, the high school you graduated from, and it would put you into this group. And you'd see all the people that were part of it, and you could kind of try to reconnect with people. So
just all bad Facebooks, basically.
Essentially. So new school with monthly users listed. This is bananas. And these are in no particular order. TikTok, 1 billion monthly average users recently. YouTube, 2.1 billion. Pinterest, 487 million. Snapchat, 500 million. Instagram, 1 billion monthly users. Twitter, well, this one surprised me, 299 million. I guess Twitter isn't as popular as I thought it was.
No, it isn't.
And then the probably the biggest one right behind YouTube, and this one is really crazy. Facebook has 1.69 billion monthly users.
Yeah,
average.
Stupid.
That is crazy.
A couple big ones I want to call out. 2011, WeChat, more than 1 billion active monthly users. Twitch came out in 2011.
Oh yeah, Twitch was the video for Twitter, right?
Gaming. No, it's gaming.
Yeah. You watch streamers. That's right.
You're thinking like Periscope for Twitter.
That's what I'm thinking.
Facebook goes public in 2012 with the valuing the company at $104 billion, the largest valuation to date. Tinder in 2012, Luke. Facebook acquires in 2012 Instagram for $1 billion. Amazon in 2014 bought Twitch for almost $1 billion. Discord came out in 2015. Snapchat IPO in 2017. TikTok, like you mentioned. And now the last one I would mention is Clubhouse, which I don't really know. Clubhouse. It's an audio chat social networking app. I think you basically just like do a voice recording because you're too lazy to text, and then it sends the message of you doing that.
No, it doesn't. So you listen to people talking?
Yeah. My dad was showing me this in Florida. So if my dad's showing it to me.
Instead of tweeting, you just say what you wanted to say in a tweet and people listen to it.
Exactly.
That's terrible.
Let's play your game, Luke.
Okay, here's my game. So this game is this a real social media platform, James, or is it just a name that I'm making up?
Okay, let's hear it.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm in the zone.
Okay. The first one is about.me.
That's a real site.
It is.
Is it?
Correct. Yeah, okay. You're correct. And I'm just going to do a couple here because I got literally a ton of them. I could be here all day playing this game. The next one is Sell You Fun. CELLUFUN. Sell You Fun.
I hope not, but I think it's a site.
It is. You are correct. You are 2 for 2.
I'm good at this game.
Okay, the next one, Crunchyroll.
No, you made that up.
No, that is in fact a real site.
You know what they do at Crunchyroll?
It's anime fans. I don't know what the reference is.
Me neither, but I like it.
The next one, the next one. This is Cucumber Town.
That's a site.
Yes, it is a site. It's
I'm
for
getting the
chefs.
feeling these are all sites. Is it really? It's for chefs? Cucumber Town?
It is Cucumber Town. And I have no
That's
idea
cute.
if these are appropriate or inappropriate.
Oh, no.
So don't go to any of them.
No.
The next one
Incognito mode.
In what mode? The next one is where was it? I want to make sure that I get to some good ones. The next one is Launch Club.
Ooh, that doesn't sound good, but it has to be one.
It is. James, I have tricked you. In fact, everyone that I mentioned and everyone on my list is in fact a real site. Sorry.
It's amazing how many social networks there are out there.
So
it's scary.
I went to Google's list, not Google's list, Wikipedia and a couple other ones, and there literally are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of potential social media sites. So kind of crazy.
45% of people worldwide use social media, Luke. That's almost 3.5 billion people. Isn't that nuts?
Fun fact, I'm over at my parents' house the other day. My dad pulls out a phone and pulls out his phone and goes to Google and like asks it a question and then like goes to like a website. I've never seen that happen in 46 years of my life. So in fact, if my father is using social media, the world is definitely beyond that kind of tipping point of is social media, a thing.
It's here to stay. Yeah.
The fact that Pete was doing it, it's here to stay.
I still hope for the day that my parents can Google a solution on their own. Anywho, hopefully you all enjoyed this look back at the, not so distant history or past of social media, learned some cool things along the way, and felt really bad about, not investing in some of these companies early on. Maybe you have the next hot or not /Facebook idea that you want to tell us about. Maybe you have another get rich quick scheme. Maybe you just want to sponsor us. Maybe you just want to say hi. How about you go ahead and email us at unprofessionalengineering@gmail.com. And until next time,
see ya.